In episode 12.4 of Unshuffled, we tackle the fourth album from All Them Witches. It's called Sleeping Through the War. Let's go. Welcome, listeners. Welcome to Unshuffled. Welcome back to all our regulars, and welcome to any new listeners out there. Nice to have you on board. I'm your co-host, Matt, and joining me, as he always does, my man back in Japan after a little bit of a stint in the US in the last couple of months. Back in Japan now, Scotty D. And he is going to tell us which album we are listening to this podcast around, and we'll take it from there. Take it away, Scotty.
All right. Hi, Matt. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we are now back to All Them Witches, and we're doing the fourth album, Sleeping Through the War, from 2017, produced by Dave Cobb, which adds, I think, an interesting sound to this. I really like Dave Cobb.
You've got things to say about Dave Cobb, don't you?
Dave Cobb he's got sort of this, I don't know if it's his studio in Nashville or how that works, but he's got kind of with a lot of players that'll come in like Sturgill Simpson, Jason Isbell, I think his own like cousin, Brent Cobb, and he'll have like this core group of musicians that if you don't have your own band, they'll come in and they're solid. His sort of studio musicians. He's done stuff with the Rival Sons as well. And this was recorded at Creative Workshop in Nashville, Tennessee, where I looked that up just because I was curious to find out if that was Dave Cobb's studio. I don't think it is, but that's where Roy Orbison, Leon Russell, Merle Haggard, Jerry Reed, Dolly Parton, just legends have recorded in this studio. And and then the lineup, I think, is the same, right? Ben McLeod on guitar, bass, mellotron, Alan Van Cleve also on mellotron, Charles Michael Parks Jr. bass vocals, and then Robbie Stabler, who's drums and album artwork. And then we got Mickey Raphael from Willie Nelson's Family Band laying down which we'll talk about it, but that harmonica slow jam that just rides out internet. And then Dave Cobb, who does some percussions on Bruce Lee, and then Caitlin Rose.
Well, Caitlin Rose, Tristan, I don't know the last, it's a long surname, but let's call her Tristan G, and Erin Ray. So we've got three backing vocalists that are on various songs here. So before we get into detail with the tracks, just a reminder to you listeners that if you haven't, you should listen to this album before you listen to us get into this in detail. It'll be well worth your time. It's a short album. We always pick good albums on this podcast. This one's no exception. I think you'll enjoy it. So go and give it a listen before pause this, go give it a listen, and then come back to us, just so you can make your own judgments first. And so you're not sitting there listening to two blokes crap on about some music you've never heard. So it'll be much better for you if you listen to the album. Go and do it. It's nice. It's good. You'll enjoy it. With that said, we've got 4 categories of song to get through. I was going to suggest we omit one of them, but anyway, we'll be talking about the opening track, the opener. We'll talk about our favourite track, the killer. We'll talk about the song that grew on us, and we've had a long time for that to happen. So the grower and the filler. I was going to suggest omitting the filler because I don't have one, but I suspect you might, Scotty, just chatting before the show.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not actually the filler. It would be more of like what were they thinking? I think we can get rid of filler. We struggle to fill the filler.
We always struggle with filler. All right.
Yeah.
Filler has become a filler.
Filler has
All
become
right,
a
no filler.
filler. I think
No
we can cut
filler.
it. Nope.
All right. Okay, well, let's kick things off, listener. You have listened to the album now, and you obviously heard the opening track, so we're going to share our thoughts on it now. You want to take it away, Scotty?
Sure. The first track is called Bulls, and it starts off with these nature sounds. There's that marching drum beat, and then there's that sort of quiet singing. And the part that I'm just curious about is this song is called Bulls instead of Sleeping Through the War, which is the album track. And it's really when he says Sleeping Through the War where the song sort of just kicks off into the keyboards, the fuzz, and the song really kind of just takes off. And that moment seems to be the moment where the song sort of goes in this different direction. Well, the whole album goes in a different direction from that moment. And I was just curious why, and this isn't unanswered. Nobody's going to answer this. Why they called it Bulls instead of Sleeping Through the War? I don't know. It seemed like you had it right there. There it was. But I think that was a conscious decision, right? I think this is a great opener. It definitely gives you the beginning gives you a sense that this album is going to be different than the last one.
I agree. There's definitely a sign that this is something different. I can't answer your question about why they didn't call it Sleeping Through the War. I guess what you want in an opening track is something that serves as a sort of brief introduction to what you can expect from the rest of the album. And I think this does that very well. That nature sound at the start, they use that a little bit throughout the album. There's sort of it reminded me a little bit of Hendrix, the way he did that on some of his albums, but we'll come back to that as well later on. It's almost two songs in one, this one. So there's that gentle opening, and there's some overdriven guitar in the choruses. But then the second half of this song, it really just picks up and takes off. So yeah, it's like two songs in one almost. I'm surprised you didn't mention a little hint of space lasers in that second half of this as well. But very layered, psychedelic, fantastic. I don't know what it's about. I can't really understand or find the lyrics online. And especially towards the end, he's just kind of yelling and it's all building up to this climax. And I don't really know what he's saying, but that's no big deal. I thought it was a really good song, a great introduction to the album. And yeah, a sign that their influences have just shifted a little away from Zeppelin and more towards Hendrix. And I think that's reinforced in some other parts of the album. So there you go. Killer. Let's move on to the
Can I
Killer.
really
shall we?
quickly?
Unless you got, yeah.
Well, I do. I want to answer what he's saying, and it's not going to shed any more insight as to what it's about.
Right.
What he's shouting is bull on the back of the bus, hands on the bench. Open the back of the bus, hands on the bench.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure that adds anything to my understanding there. A lot of lyrics here are kind of almost nonsensical or just words that sound good but don't really necessarily make a lot of sense, and that's all right. Killer, the Killer. This has changed a lot. I just looking through my notes, I've got Killer in question mark next to almost every song on the album, which is a pretty good sign, I think. The one I've settled on as my Killer at the moment was going to be my Grower, but it's grown so much that it's grown into my Killer. So perhaps I'm going to have to find another Grower. But it's Am I Going Up? Surprisingly, because it's not a song that on first listen you would say, that's it. But this is, I'm guessing if you had a vinyl, this would be the first song on side 2. And the songs on the second side tend to be much longer than the short songs on side 1. So this is the introduction to the second half of the album, the much more patient, longer songs. It's got those backing vocals again, and I think I like the songs with the backing vocals most of all on this album. I really like that as an introduction, as something new on this album. This one's about 5.5 minutes, so of the longer songs, it's not the longest by a long stretch, but still longer. And it reminds that we spoke about the term Southern Gothic, and on their previous albums, and this has that real Southern Gothic feel. It reminds me of a long coach ride through the prairie or over the mountains or something. I guess the mountains up and down, right? So, but it's such a beautiful song, and the heavy bit is just one heavy strummed chord that echoes out over the other instruments, and then kind of transforms and twists and turns. But it's just so there's so much restraint in this song that I really like. I think it's a magnificent song. So, and it grew and grew and grew, and now it's my killer. So there you go. Am I going up?
Awesome. I actually, this is in my sort of like my standout moment ties into all of this. The sequencing of tracks 4, 5, and 6, the song 357, Am I Going Up, and Alabaster. Those three songs I just keep coming back to them. And I think each one of them has been my killer at some point in the listening process. The one I landed on for right now is Alabaster. And this song begins with the same vibe that was sort of established in the last two tracks, 357 and Am I Going Up? But then it kicks into that heavier, fuzzed out bit that we saw in the first two tracks. And so this song, I feel like, really kind of just takes everything and puts it together. It sort of cleanly sums up the album. And then I really like the lyrics of the song. There's sort of this trippy Southwestern redemption, right, that's happening sort of in the song. There's the end where it says something like, I know the darkness face. I know my father's face every day. They look more and more like me. The whole thing is played against these sounds of like an Oliver Stone peyote trip before that fuzz kind of just kicks through again. I love just the sound of the song, the dynamics of the song. It's almost 7 minutes long. It's not the longest song on the album, but it's long enough that they've got a lot of room to sort of play with and kind of fill all this in. So I've landed on Alabaster for right now as my favorite song, my killer.
Yeah, I can completely support that choice. Well done. And it was mine at various stages as well. I don't know much about Alabaster. I don't think it's something that was common in the Wild West. I know it's a beautiful stone that's used a lot in sculpture, very shiny and bright. So I guess it's more about the imagery than anything.
There is, I looked it up, and it looks like in the Southwest, California, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and parts of Mexico, there are famous like alabaster. There's a certain specific type of alabaster.
Okay. And just tying in sonically that the percussion towards the end becomes very it sounds like a rattlesnake basically towards the end as well, just to add to that desert feel. So yeah, beautiful song, good choice. Happy to support you on that one. You got a grower?
I do. It was it was Cowboy Kirk up until I sat down, and now it's internet. So and I think it's internet because for whatever reason, all night long and all morning as I was drinking coffee and getting ready to come in, I guess I'll go live on the internet. Just keeps running through my head. And when I went and looked into the lyrics, I guess the song, he said in a performance that the song is about the housing crisis. And I saw that and I was like, what? But then I went and looked at the lyrics and I was thinking that and I was like, oh, I get it. I like it. Anyway, so it's just sort of resonating with me. That Internet is the longest song on the album. I like the lyrics. I now like them more. Um, but really, I also just, and I think we briefly alluded to this, but that having Mickey Raphael on that harmonica slow jam outro, it's, I really like how that song ends. I like how the whole album ends.
Agreed. So, like you, Cowboy Kirk, I've got written on my notes, is this the grower? Next to internet, I've got written, no, this is the grower. So it sounds like our thoughts have developed in similar ways. Yeah, I mean, lyrically, it's an unexpected twist given what they've been singing about before. I didn't expect them to be singing about the internet. It's a 10-minute old-fashioned blues song with that beautiful harmonica section, which, yeah, it's the sort of thing you can imagine at the end of that. He would say, Mickey Raphael, ladies and gentlemen, on the harmonica. Such sort of just that jamminess of it, a really pleasant. It's a really pleasant jam, and it fades out beautifully to bookend the album. So the first song and the last song are really well chosen, I think, and this is a lovely way to finish the album. And it did grow on me. It does, 10 minutes, as we've discussed before, is a lot to invest, but you know, this one's well worth it, and for that reason, it's the grower.
When you are all them witches, I'm just sort of I'm trying to envision how do you get Mickey Raphael on your album, and I wonder if it's you're in there recording with Dave Cobb, and somebody says, "Hey, we should put some harmonica on this," and Dave Cobb says, "I bet I can get Mickey Raphael." And you and all them witches are finding yourself thinking, "What? No way!" And he comes in and just lays it down.
I didn't know who he was. I must admit. So I just thought he sounded great. Filler. I don't have filler, but and you don't either.
No, I don't have filler, but I can say what were they thinking. It was "Don't Bring Me Coffee," and I think I I really like the verse of the song. I really like how the song starts out. The chorus throws me. It feels like two different. I don't know. I don't know what it is. The chorus pulls me out of the song. It just kind of builds up. It's got sort of this early sub pop vibe to the song, but I don't know. I find that's the one that I find myself skipping. I'll go from one and then just jump into Bruce Lee.
Yes. So we've got your what were they thinking? Mine is not about the music itself, but my CD has a second CD in it, and it's kind of studio versions of the songs on the main CD. I don't know. I guess when you're trying to put together a package that you want people to buy, you think, how can we sell this? What can we do on the CD to make people want to buy it? I don't know. I don't. Maybe some people are interested in it, but not me. I don't. If I'm going, I don't want to see. I don't want to go and look at a sketch of the Mona Lisa that he was working on. You know, 6 months before he did the actual painting. I just want to see the finished product. So, um, yeah, I don't know. That's a bit of a miss for me. I would have preferred a lyric booklet personally, and then I could have worked out what he was saying at the end of Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. I haven't really listened to that much. That I basically listened to it very briefly, and that's been the end of it. So that would be my what were they thinking? Standout lyrics. Can we do that one now?
Yeah.
Because I really like the lyrics to Cowboy Kirk. Because when you hear the title, you think, "Oh, Cowboy Kirk. This must be some hero." You're imagining something like Woody from Toy Story. So you think, "Oh, Cowboy Kirk." Some great hero that he's going to sing about. But then you realize that it's not that at all, because the lyrics are along the lines of, when you say, "I miss you like a hole in the head," or "clear as mud," one of those sort of ironic sayings. And when he's saying, "I love you like I love Cowboy Kirk," you realize that Cowboy Kirk, because he said, "I love you like I love chewing rocks," or whatever he said, or chewing stones. I love you like I like doing work. So these are things that clearly he doesn't love, and he doesn't love Cowboy Kirk either. He thinks he's a bit of a dick. I think he just kind of hangs around the cantina downtown all day and doesn't do a whole lot. So I really liked it, the irony in those lyrics, and yeah, I enjoyed that. So they're my standout lyrics. Very clever, Cowboy Kirk.
Mine were for internet, and it's where it was, I guess, that stretch where I was like, okay, I guess this could be about the housing crisis. And it was where it says, "Guess I'll go live on the internet. Time to go outsource lightning once again." I don't know what that means, but I like it. I've never stepped so lightly in all my life, and all the months of my childhood turned to eggshells when I wasn't looking. And so it's sort of, I think, about this idea of, if it is in fact like not just sort of existing on the internet because there's nowhere else to exist in sort of your day-to-day real life.
Yeah, very good. All right, next category. Remind me.
I believe we're at the Bam Brownlow.
Okay, cool.
Oh wait, did you have a standout moment?
Standout moment. Yeah, we haven't had that. Come on. We're rusty. I do have a standout.
I combined mine with The Killer.
Yeah, what is it?
It was that the sequencing of 4, 5, and 6.
Ah, okay. That's a long moment.
It is a long moment. It's a long moment, and I enjoyed all 20 minutes of it.
My standout moment is this really fun, jammy bit in Bruce Lee. It's about a minute. It's in the middle of the song. It goes for about a minute. It's just instrumental. I've heard that song compared to Queens of the Stone Age, and I guess I can see it a little bit. But it's this really fun, driving, shuffling rhythm with the keyboard playing over the top, sort of carrying the melody. The rhythm, I'd call it the Kickstart My Heart rhythm. That sort of. I'm sure Motley Crue weren't the first one to do it, but that real fun rocking shuffle in the rhythm, which gets you bobbing your head. So I really look forward to that part every time the song comes on. So that's my standout moment.
Nice. I love the Fender Rhodes on that song. Just the keyboards throughout that entire song. That was one song we didn't really talk about. I'm glad you brought that
good
in.
Song. Good song.
All right, now we're at Bam Brownlow.
Yes. Come on.
You want me to start this?
Yeah, you go.
All right. My 3 votes go to CM Parks Jr. I really like the vocal stylings on this album.
3 votes best on ground or
best on ground?
Best
on ground. Sorry. Yeah. And then 2 votes go to Robbie Stebler for the drums. And then 1 vote goes to Ben McLeod for guitar and other assorted instrument fun.
Okay, yeah. I love the vocal performance in this album. I agree with you. 3 votes to Charles M. Parks Jr., Esquire. To Robbie Stabler. It's written here. I can't change it. And controversially, I'm giving my 1 vote to the backing vocalists. I really enjoyed their work. So all 3 of them get a third of a vote each, I guess.
Man, that screws everything up.
So put that in your spreadsheet.
Up my chart. Caitlin Rose, Aaron Ray, and Tristan Gaspardek. Correct?
Yeah, good luck with that last one.
Thanks. All right, I got it.
Tristan G.
Tristan G.
Cool. Well done. All right. So, I mean, it was a quick album, very tight album. Any overall thoughts you want to share with the listeners before we move on?
I really liked it. I'm really curious to see what happens. The next album is ATW, and it comes a year later. And if I am correct, this is the album where they broke through. This is the album where they started popping up on end of the year charts, the one that's coming up next. And so I'm curious to see if this next album is a continuation or if it's just a completely different direction.
Yep. Do you agree with my thinking that there's more Hendrix and less Zeppelin on this one?
Yeah, I thought, in fact, I hadn't thought that until you said it. But when you said it, I was like, oh, spot on. That's it
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So yeah, sort of a shift away from hard rock towards psychedelia. I mean, they've always had those elements, but I think it was more obvious on this one. And I think, yeah, bringing in the backing vocalists. Um, look, I like 8 songs on an album. I'm a big fan of that. Unlike you, I didn't see any weak tracks on this side. And I kept chopping and changing between my killer, and I think that's a very good sign. It's just a strong album all the way through. Felt very tight. I liked the producer. I like the it had sparse moments, and then it has these moments where it feels like there's 20 or 30 different layers of music all happening at the same time. So there's this contrast between these quiet, beautiful moments and these manic, overdriven moments is really nice. So holds your interest all the way through. And that last track, man, that's just something special. The internet. But yeah, there's a lot of great songs on this. So thoroughly enjoyed it, almost to the point where, I mean, one thought that's occurred to me, maybe we should wait until we finish with the band, but I think we've done some really good bands, but this is our 12th band now. I think this might be one of, if not my favorite one that we've done so far. I really like this band, and this is probably the best of their albums so far. So, in terms of the pantheon of unshuffled albums, I think this one's right up there.
I will say that I agree, by the way, that although I still Atomic Bitchwax still hits me in the feels. It does look like the next album is going to go a different direction. It looks like we're going to lose Alan Van Cleve.
Right.
All Them Witches, for the most part, is going to be pared down to a trio with an additional musician coming in and filling in some of the Alan Van Cleve stuff. And Ben McLeod's going to be the producer on the next album.
Whoa.
So, yeah. So there we go.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Well, I like the fact that they keep trying new things and changing and experimenting. So yeah, I'm there for that. Let's see. I trust them at this point.
Right. Agreed. Let's wrap this up.
You can email us, as our good friend Matt often does, unshuffledpod@gmail.com. And thanks as always to Small Stone for the use of the track from Seven Planets in the intro. What's it called? Vanguard. Is that right? Something like that. There's a link in the show notes. Anyway, really good. And great label, Small Stone. We love them. And yeah, rest in peace, Aussie. Thanks for listening, listeners, and stick with us as we keep going through all images. Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener.